So, looking at the legacy of communism on Central Asian religious identity, which becomes important to understanding Central Asia today, what you found is that you had the development of these parallel or underground religious institutions that were really tolerated by Muslim leaders. Then you had official Islam, which helped to perpetuate some elements of the Islamic tradition, although they were often secularized. You have, as a result, this sort of symbolic Islam within the population, where Islam is much more an identification than an understanding of the Quran. And so you've got Islam of modernized Muslim elites who take pride based on this feeling of national religiousness, that religion is connected to the nation, to their ethnic group. A variety of factors helped Islam survive in Central Asia. One of these was the general similarities and compatibilities between communism and Islam, because both of them emphasized collectivist values and service to the community through these duties. They both have an idea of firm power and a strong leader as well, with a strong religious leader strong religious leaders historically playing a major role in the political events in Central Asia, going back to at least the 19th century and well before that. There were also periodic historic opportunities for the re-emergence of Islam. Again, the Soviets needed Islam and all religions to fight the Nazis during World War II, and then even under Khrushchev to help recruit Muslims from the Third World to support the Soviets and not the Americans. You had another re-emergence, another opportunity under Gorbachev with Glasnost by the late 1980s. So all these historic opportunities meant that there were periods where religion was in the background, but then it was allowed to come out again and refresh people's minds and refresh new generations, and then it went down again, and then it came back up, and again new generations were emerged within it. There was also a fairly weak system of informers within Central Asia because you had strong family and clan ties, which meant that you could be more active in underground religious structures. You could engage personally and privately in religious practices, and not be as afraid as in other parts of the Soviet Union. And there was this persistence and co-optation of traditional structures. The mahallas, which I mentioned before, were one basic social structure that was used to maintain Islam and ensure that Islam wasn't destroyed. So again, what the mahallas are these local neighborhood communities where you have these authority figures known as the oksokol, these white beards, the elders, who are Muslim elders. They're over 40. They're connected with Islam. I'm actually over 40. I just turned 40. But I don't have a beard, even though you can't see me. And they're connected with Islam. So these are useful to the regime because they're tasked with assuring order, legal as well as social order. And so they also ensured the community would continue to learn the duties and traditions of Islam. And each mahalla had its own mosque, even though it was unregistered. So there's a sort of bifurcated role of the mahallas, but they helped to actually keep the religion going, even as the mahallas were actually used to monitor the citizens. So all of these things really played a role in keeping Islam alive, at least in a certain form. Now, granted, the form certainly changed over this period because you didn't have these active madrasas, like maktabs, so society didn't have the same sort of roots that it sort of lost many of its Islamic roots, and Islam took on a different form. And in the next class, we're going to talk, or the next set of lectures, we'll talk more about the final period when Islam had this resurgence under perestroika and glasnost. So that's it for this.